Three, two, one. Hello, and welcome back to our channel. It's just a movie reviews where we review horror and thriller movies, and we are not professional movie critics.
I am.
We just talk about movies that we like and discuss them with you, like down in the comments, whether you like them or not, whether you want to see them or not, whether you've already seen them or not, things like that.
And whether you agree or not with our poorly thought out opinion.
Basically. So we just watch the movies once and then come on here and talk about them. Last week's movie was kind of a downer. This week's movie is called Lights Out. It is a movie that was originally a short film by David F. Sandberg, is that right? And then they told him he could make a whole movie, a feature-length movie out of it. So it is his directorial debut, and
Short was only a few minutes long.
yeah.
They turned that into an almost hour and a half movie.
Yeah, and so we're here to talk about it. So this is a spoiler review, so we do talk spoilers in this review. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, then you might want to pick another somebody else talking about a spoiler-free review. But yeah, this is what I've heard other reviews say. I haven't heard any other reviews on this movie, but movies like this,
Okay.
what people would say is called a popcorn film, where it's straightforward horror thriller. There's no like deeper meaning to it or anything like that. It's just your average scarefest kind of movie. Like last week's movie, there was some sort of social commentary.
It was kind of weird.
Was kind of weird. There was some sort of social commentary to it. It had a deeper meaning to it. This week's movie, just straightforward horror. And you could just watch it, turn your mind off.
You don't have to spend a lot of time figuring out, It's
right.
fairly predictable.
Right. It's just horror. It's just for fun.
Yep.
Funsies. So yeah. So you want to talk about what the movie was about, Aaron?
Sure. So basically, this is kind of a jump scare heavy movie. The basic premise of it is that there's a evil ghost monster that you can see it in low light, but then when you turn the lights on, it's gone. So it's kind of got that feel from like the red light, green light thing. It's like, well, you turn the light off and you see the shadow, and then you turn it on, and then you turn it off again, and the shadow's closer. And in the short, this ends up basically being with like when she turns around the last time, that it's like right up in her face, and then it killed her. So this is kind of a more extended version of that same thing. It's about a family who's kind of been spread apart. The mom's been divorced once, or the dad disappeared once already, and the mom's kind of has some mental health issues. She's got a young son and a older adult daughter, and the movie starts out with the dad, her second husband, her current husband, working in this business, which is like a textile factory, and his assistant sees a shadowy creature that spooks her, and she runs off and tells him about it. And he's going to leave too, but then he sees it, and it kind of chases him around and stuff, and then eventually kills him. And the woman who plays the assistant actually was I think she was in the short, and also
she?
Yeah, that's what it said. And also she's the director's wife.
Oh, okay.
So basically, what it turns out is that so the dad's gone. The little kid, is freaking out because the shadowy creature's starting to show up at his house where him and his mom are. So
it turns out the mom's not doing very well.
Yeah,
mentally.
Yeah, I said that.
Okay.
And so at school, he's like falling asleep, and he's having problems, and so they call his older sister, who has a boyfriend, and they have kind of a cute, the boyfriend wants to be more committed, and she just kind of kicks him out every night and that sort of thing. And so, they show up, and she's there to help him. There's some kind of family drama because she ran off before when the other dad disappeared and kind of left the boy and the mom together. But they all kind of get back together again, and they're trying to kind of figure out what's going on. Is the mom having problems? They start to realize oh, the ghost thing is real, and they all end up at the house together, and it basically goes to its expected conclusion. People get chased around a lot, and a few people get killed, and some other people don't get killed. Right?
Yeah, it's amazingly a low body count for a horror movie, really. At one point you think that the boyfriend is going to die.
Yeah, you really think the boyfriend's going to die, because she's like, okay, they're staying the night, and of course the night is when the creature's always coming out and harassing everybody. Although it can during the day too, I guess. It just doesn't usually. So so she was going to stay with him on the couch, but then her little brother is like, oh, please, stay with me in my room. So she's like, tells the boyfriend, she's like, well, you stay down here by yourself. I'm gonna sleep with my little brother. He's like, oh, I understand. She's like, yeah, it's okay. We're gonna have a bright future together. And after this is all done, I'm gonna let you move into my apartment and everything, or I'm gonna clean you out a whole drawer for your socks or whatever it was. And so it's like, yeah, he's dead,
But it's amazing. He makes it through and runs off.
He's actually one of the most resourceful characters in the movie.
Yeah,
he actually goes and gets the police.
Police.
He uses the car headlights and other things to battle the spirit.
Yeah, and he's probably the best actor in the film too.
Not that that's saying a ton. It's not an acting tour de force by any means.
No, the acting's kind of stale.
But all the characters were fairly one-dimensional too, so it's not like they really had to stretch for the most part,
Right. So don't go into this looking for the next Oscar winner or anything like that.
And it's it's a little more gritty and startling, I would say, at the first part of it, and it kind of gets more and more kind of iffy from there, I would say. It doesn't hold tension really well all the way through, I would say.
It relies a lot.
You see too much of the monster.
You see her way too
and
much.
so it kind of gets old after a bit.
It turns out that the monster was the mother's friend at a mental hospital when she was younger, and she was sensitive to light, and she died at the mental hospital, and now
she's sort of attached to her.
She's sort of haunting the mother, and shows up when the mom is really depressed and stuff.
Yeah, and basically if anybody tries to help the mom get better, that's when the ghost, whose name is Diana, that's when Diana gets him. And that's actually, turns out that's what happened to the first dad. They all thought he just ran off and abandoned him, but he got killed is what it was. And the second dad too, he's in the middle of digging up all this information, trying to find out what is the deal with Diane. And, he's just kind of finished that up when he gets killed, Yeah.
So the characters don't have to do any digging or any exploration.
Yeah, because the dad already did all of it. It's already just in a box on his desk at the textile factory. So they just run and grab it and go back home, Kind of skip that whole arc of the story there.
No, it's in the house. The stuff is in the house.
He brought it home? I can't remember. Okay. But in any case, or maybe they just brought his stuff home after he got killed. But in any case, they don't have to go research and poke around patient files in a mental asylum and stuff, because that was already all done off camera. So, it's convenient.
Yeah, so this movie relies very heavily on jump scares too, which I personally don't really like jump scares a lot in my movies. But
I like it more than you do. I like it to a point.
Yeah.
Not if that's the whole movie, but I liked that what was the movie with the dad turning into the wolf thing, and remember?
The dad turning into the wolf thing.
The dad, and he turned into the wolf thing with the antlers and everything.
The Wendigo?
Yeah, the Wendigo, yeah.
Antlers? Yeah, that's one of the first videos we did.
Oh yeah, it took you a while to pick up on it then. I guess I should have just said. Remember that movie that we did a couple episodes ago?
Yeah, that was like a year
That
ago.
had a lot of jump scares in it. So I like that better than you did.
Yeah, well,
But in any case, so yeah, it's kind of predictable. There's things popping out at you and characters suddenly getting grabbed from behind and dragged off into the darkness, screaming by their ankles. That sort of thing.
yeah. And yeah, you see the monster way too much. I kind of like the backstory of the monster. That was cool. There's no like big twist ending or anything.
Yeah, there's really not
in this one. Very straightforward movie. What I really didn't like was the depiction of mental health and depression in this one, because the only way, and this is the ending of the movie, the only way to get rid of the creature is for the mom to shoot herself dead.
Well, they don't know that. I mean, maybe if they'd managed to trap it or something, they could, because they find out they can hurt it.
Yeah.
They find out later, near the end of the movie, that this is just kind of a thing that just kind of comes out of nowhere. But it's like, the creature can be seen and move around in low light.
Yeah.
And it kind of hop from darkness to darkness. So, it can show up behind you all of a sudden, if there's lots of dark shadows around. And when there's bright light, it disappears. But can also move it can move, but you just can't see it, and it can't do anything.
Yeah.
When the lights are on, but it can come up right in your face, so that when you turn the lights off again, it's right there to kill you, But then it turns out that if they have black light, she finds this big black light flashlight tube at one point. Black light lets you see it, and prevents it from disappearing.
Yeah.
So they find out then that if they have black light shining on it, and then they also shine a regular light on it, the regular light burns it.
Yeah.
So I think if they had managed to somehow pin it down and then pour sunlight down on it or something like that, I think they probably could have killed it that way.
Well, but they don't do
But
that.
this movie isn't that ambitious, though.
But they don't do that.
Right.
They unalive the mother.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, she decides to do that. It's not like their plan or anything,
Yeah, but I really don't appreciate that kind of ending.
Yeah, it's kind of a giving up kind of ending.
Right. And so in the end, the little boy Martin ends up losing his mother and his father.
Yeah.
And he just has his sister,
and they'll probably both get killed in the sequel.
Yeah, can you believe they're like planning a sequel to this? And I don't know how they're going to do that.
There wasn't really any this is the sort of movie where if at that other movie they were talking about, it's like at the very end of the movie you see the dad's getting the symptoms of the the new guy or whatever, he's getting the symptoms of the thing.
Right.
They don't really show that in here. I saw something that says something about the ambulance lights flickering at the end or something like that real briefly, but I didn't really even catch that. So, they didn't show anything obvious saying it's not dead yet. It's because when the mom gets killed, you see the monster kind of disintegrate into fiery embers in midair, in mid leap, and so it's fairly obvious that it's supposed to be dead, but it's a ghost, so the rules are whatever the scriptwriter decides that they are.
Right.
Really. So
it's interesting in the fact that there's a monster and you have to learn the rules of what the monster is and the backstory of the monster and how to get rid of the monster and how to hurt the monster and everything like that. So that was very interesting. But
my favorite part was when the mom, because she wants to hang out with the monster, because
Yeah.
it's her friend, but it's nobody else understands, that just wants to be her friend, and kill everybody, but mainly to be her friend.
Right.
And so it's she's the little boy's there with her, and they're hanging out. They're having popcorn. They're gonna watch a movie or something. So she's okay, now, don't freak out, And she turns lights off, and she's what are you doing? And the monster's kind of coming into the living room. It's he's gonna sit and eat popcorn with us.
She doesn't say that.
No, but that's basically what they're implying. Which I think they should have just taken that to its logical conclusion. And actually, had the monster sit there and eat popcorn, and I think that would have been interesting.
Okay, so what's your final thoughts on this movie? What do you rate it?
I would say, it's fairly predictable. It's not horrible, but it's not great. I would give it like a 6 out of 10.
It would.
It's the sort of movie that I'm going to forget about having watched, before too long.
Yeah, it's forgettable. It's very formulaic. I didn't like the jump scares, but the story was okay. I kind of wished that they spent a little more time on them finding out about.
Yeah, it would have been more interesting than what they did. Plus, they also like missed the chance to have them go poke around in a creepy abandoned
they could have
mental
made it.
hospital.
They could have made it a little longer.
Come
because
on, that's horror gold right there.
They could have made it a little longer because this movie was only an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah. Plus, it would have been more creepy if the ending part of the movie was them getting chased around the mental asylum, as opposed to the.
But there were times I kind of wish this movie was just over.
Then they could have rigged up that phototherapy room and they used that to kill it. That was the thing that killed her in the first place.
So I would just give this movie a 5 out of 10. I liked it better than last week's movie.
Yeah.
About the crazy parents. So
yeah. It's it's there. It's what it is. It's fairly predictable. It's not all that great. So needless to say, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 sequels. I think we could pretty much anticipate.
This came out in 2016. I don't think it was very popular when it came out. I don't know. I didn't look up the stats on this movie, but yeah, it's showing on Hulu. That's where we watched it, on Hulu. So yeah, if you just want a movie to watch and eat some popcorn with,
and you don't have to pay a lot of attention to it, really,
and you like a few jump scares,
the kids are interrupting you a lot and stuff, and you'll still be fine.
Yeah.
And then if you don't also if you don't mind the fact that your kids are probably going to try to jump scare you and jump out at you after seeing this movie, so
I'm thinking this was probably rated PG-13 because there was some cussing, but I don't think there were any F-bombs or anything like that.
I could see that being a PG-13.
So this was probably a PG-13 movie, I think. Yeah. So
there wasn't anything else that would have made it a R.
No.
No, the violence is fairly low key. It's not like a horrific violence kind of movie.
There was only the dad and 2 cops that got killed.
Basically, people, they get beat up by the ghost and thrown around,
Yeah.
And obviously, there's no, they could have done it in our movie, but
hardly any gore.
There wasn't any nudity or anything like that or anything.
There was no,
except for maybe the ghost. I don't know. They don't really show,
The ghost just kind of kills the people, and then
shadowy figures don't really need to wear pants, So
I wouldn't really say there's any gore, really.
Nah, not really.
So, okay, anyway, that's the movie. That's our ratings. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, leave us suggestions down below of movies you'd like to see us watch. And yeah, okay, anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Okay, we will see you again soon. So, all right, we will see you again. Goodbye.